Hey, quick question. When's the last time you scrolled through your contacts looking for someone to call and just closed the app? Not because no one would answer. You probably have 200 contacts, a group chat that's still active, maybe even someone sleeping right next to you tonight. But none of them felt like the right person to call. If that's happened to you, I want you to know something before we go any further. That's not you being broken or antisocial or ungrateful for the people you have. That's one of the most common, least talked about feelings of being alive right now. Let's talk about it properly. I want to describe a very specific kind of lonely, not the obvious kind. Not being alone on a Friday night, no plans, nobody to text. I mean the other kind. You're at a party. People are laughing around you. Someone just told a story and you laughed at the right part. And in the middle of all of it, there's this strange, quiet distance. Like you're watching the room from slightly outside it. Or you're married or in a long relationship, lying next to someone you love. And you still feel like there's a sentence stuck in your throat that you don't know how to say to anyone, including them. Or you're in a group chat with 12 people in it, and you realize you haven't told a single one of them how you're actually doing in months. This isn't about how many people are in your life. You might have more people around you than most. That's what makes this particular kind of lonely so confusing. It doesn't match what your life is supposed to look like from the outside. So here's the thing. Almost nobody says clearly. Loneliness was never really about head count. It's about depth. There's actually research on this. Psychologists distinguish between a few different kinds of loneliness. There's the absence of one close, confiding relationship. Someone you could call at 2 a.m. and just be honest with. There's the absence of a wider circle of people who really know you. And there's a third kind, feeling disconnected from any sense of community or shared belonging at all. You can have plenty of people in the second category, acquaintances, coworkers, group chats, and still be starving in the first one. That's the gap most of us are actually feeling. And here's where this connects to identity, not just relationships. A lot of the time, this gap shows up after you've changed and the people around you haven't caught up yet. You grew. Your values shifted. What used to feel like enough connection stopped feeling like enough. Not because the people changed, but because you did. That's an uncomfortable thing to sit with, because it means the loneliness isn't a sign something's wrong with your life. It's a sign you're not the same person who built it. And there's something else worth knowing. Younger adults are actually reporting this more than older generations right now, which surprises a lot of people. We assume loneliness is an old age problem. It's not anymore. It might be one of the defining feelings of being a young adult in exactly this moment. More connected than any generation in history, on paper, and somehow still aching for one real conversation. I want to be really direct about something. Feeling this way doesn't mean you're doing life wrong. It's tempting to turn this inward. To think if you just texted people more, or went out more, or tried harder, this feeling would go away. Sometimes that helps a little, but often, more surface-level contact doesn't actually touch this kind of lonely at all. You can fill your calendar completely and still come home to the exact same quiet ache. That's because this isn't solved by quantity. It's solved by depth. And depth takes something a lot of us were never taught how to do. Letting people see the parts of us that aren't curated. There's also a structural piece here that has nothing to do with you personally. The way most of us live now just doesn't build in the casual, repeated contact that used to create closeness automatically. Third places, the coffee shop you went to every week, the rec league, the regular spot, used to do a lot of this work for us without anyone trying. A lot of those have quietly disappeared from daily life. So if it feels harder to build closeness than it used to, it's not just you losing a skill. The structure that used to do some of that work for you is gone too. So if more contact doesn't fix it, what does? The first thing, and this is the one people resist the most, is one honest conversation beats 10 surface-level ones. Not a big dramatic confession. Just one moment where you say the slightly more true thing instead of the easy thing. Actually, today was hard. Instead of, I'm fine. That one sentence does more for this kind of lonely than an entire week of small talk. The second is choosing repetition over intensity. Closeness isn't usually built in one deep conversation. It's built by showing up to the same low-stakes thing enough times that it becomes shared history. The same walk, the same group, the same person you check in with on Sundays. Consistency builds trust faster than depth does, surprisingly. The third is accepting that rebuilding connection after you've changed doesn't always mean returning to old relationships. Sometimes it means finding new people who know the version of you that exists right now. That's not a betrayal of the people who knew you before. It's just allowed. And the last thing, this one's more about how you treat yourself in the meantime, is not adding shame on top of the loneliness. A lot of people feel lonely and then feel ashamed of feeling lonely, like it's evidence they're failing socially. It's not. It's evidence you're a person who wants real connection, in a world that's currently not very good at making that easy. That want is healthy. It's not the problem. So if you watched this whole thing because some part of it felt a little too familiar, I want you to know this is genuinely one of the most common feelings right now, even though almost no one says it out loud. You're not antisocial. You're not ungrateful for what you have. You're someone who wants to be really known by at least one or two people instead of vaguely liked by a lot of them. That's not too much to want. It's actually one of the healthiest things you could want. And the fact that you're sitting here thinking about this instead of just scrolling past it, that's already the beginning of doing something about it. If this helped, there's more like it on this channel. I'll see you in the next one.